I'm going to do a short exercise, a small wet-on-wet study of a poppy. The appeal of this technique is that the colours merge into one another, preventing the edges from being too sharp. So for that we need a wash brush, which I have here, and one with a pointed tip. I work with pan watercolours, and today with Canson Montval torsion paper, 270 grams per square metre, which means that we can get it quite wet, and water to wet the paper with a sponge. Always fix down the paper because we're going to work wet on wet. It's important if you don't want the paper to curl. So I'm going to draw quite faintly. As watercolours are transparent, the lines would be visible under the layer of paint, under the first haze of colour. So we have to do a faint, imperceptible drawing. Here I'm copying a sketch that I did earlier onto the watercolour paper. The first stage is wetting the paper with the brush before sponging off any excess water. Step 2, wetting the paper with a sponge. That's to make sure that there's an even amount of water on the surface of the paper. So now I'm going to start adding the colour. Medium tones first, allowing them to spread. The paper has to stay damp whilst we apply the medium tones, so you have to work quite quickly. That's the difficult part. You can use a photograph when choosing the colours or make up the mixes yourself. I've waited for the paper to dry slightly before starting on the darker tones, which will give them sharper edges. As the painting comes on, I use paint that's a little bit thicker. And so now the aim is to enhance all the colours. And then finalize the details. To make a clearer drawing and to give a little detail to the leaves and flowers, I'm using small touches of colour that are a little lighter and a little darker. All we have to do now is to leave it to dry. Remember to leave the paper fixed down so that it doesn't curl because it's been really wet.
Et voilà le moment où le pinceau tombe.